This situation is starting to get insane between the Winnipeg Jets, Cole Perfetti, and the Minnesota Wild and Ryan Hartman. On New Year's Eve, Ryan Hartman on a face-off high-sticked Cole Perfetti and openly admitted to it afterwards. Cole Perfetti then comes out and says that he has been mic'd up, and this situation is starting to get blown out of the water. So we're going to be talking about that in this video, but before we get into all of that, we noticed that about 3/4 of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're looking for a spot to get all your news around the NHL on the road to Macklin Celebrini, you're in the right spot. Make sure to stay a while, sub to the channel, so you don't miss out on any of the major news around the NHL. Like I said, we need to start this off from the beginning, which is New Year's Eve, the game between the Minnesota Wild and the Winnipeg Jets. On a face-off between Cole Perfetti, Ryan Hartman, after a hit on Kirill Kaprizov, Ryan Hartman high-sticks Cole Perfetti off the face-off, goes right to the teeth, and then later openly admits to him in the game that it was intentional and a result from the Brendan Dillon and Kirill Kaprizov incident. A reporter later asked Cole Perfetti if he had been mic'd up in that game, which he knew he was, and he says yes. And in that interview, Cole Perfetti says that Ryan Hartman told him it was intentional and because of that. And this is just starting to get absolutely insane as of late. You know, it's about a week later at this point of recording it, but it's just starting to, get even more and more details from the whole situation. And this kind of stemmed this idea from a quote from the Ray and Dregs podcast, saying that will fallout from the Hartman Perfetti have a look ahead to the February 20th in their next game. And to keep this, pretty short and sweet, I think this will. I think that we'll see something, maybe even a few things happen during that game, maybe leading up before. We know Kirill Kaprizov is out for a while, 1 to 2 weeks for that after that hit. And Ryan Hartman had been fined by the Department of Player Safety for $4,427, the maximum allowed under the CBA for high sticking. And, Ryan Hartman has had his fair share of fines. I believe it's now around 7 in the NHL, but he's an old school player. He plays hard, he plays physical, and that's kind of an old school play, is taking action and fully admitting that you are doing this in a result of another play in the game. So a lot of people are, saying that this is not in today's game, which it really isn't, but that's how Ryan Hartman plays. It's an old school type of hockey. I still don't really think it was necessary to have a high stick right off the face-off. I think it would have been easier to, lay a clean hit, a heavy hit against the boards, drop the gloves, do something else. But we have another one here from Spit and Church. So this is what I've been saying the whole time. Ryan Hartman straight up told Cole Perfetti he high-sticked him on purpose because of the Dillon Kaprizov incident. And, it is definitely a situation that's getting a bit out of hand. You see reporters getting into it now. People are wanting the Department of Player Safety to, get involved a bit more into it, but I really don't think they will. The Department of Player Safety, we all know, every single one of you guys watching this, the Department of Player Safety is a joke. I don't think they will do anything after their original fine. If they do, I will be incredibly surprised. They don't do anything on stuff that is finable, suspendable half the time, and they don't even, someone should be suspended 5 games, they'll give them 1. Someone gets suspended 1 game, they should be suspended 5. They're just an absolute joke. So we're kind of got to rule out the Department of Player Safety in this situation as of right now, because they're not going to do anything. They don't care. They're there to get their paycheck. That we know that pretty much the whole situation there. But going into the next game, I think that we know, it's going to be Ryan Hartman as long as everybody's healthy. This has been a horrible season for injuries in the NHL, but the Jets and the Wild have been a very, competitive matchup the past few years, a very physical games. There's been a lot of injuries come out of it, a lot of, dirty plays, I guess we could say. One I remember last year was Logan Stanley, cross-checker Pro Kaprizov, kind of sat on him, fell on him, whatever. And Kirill Kaprizov was out for about a month. And, ever since then, that's when we really started to see a lot of back and forth between these two teams, a lot of hatred. It's very, it's a very competitive matchup regardless, outside of all of this, due to being both in the Central Division. They're not really fighting for a playoff spot now, but over the past few years, they have been. That's been the whole deal with these two teams. And I really think that it's just going to get a bit chippy for the rest of the year. We have matchups like the Canadiens and the Bruins, Montreal and Toronto, a lot of matchups like that you have these very physical matchups between, like Calgary and Edmonton. And I think this is one that we're going to start to see a bit more often. Minnesota and Winnipeg right on the border, two physical teams. that are like playing physical style of hockey. So they're going to clash. And next game, I think we are going to see some heavy stuff. But do I think that anything will come out of this more on the Department of Player Safety side, the fine, the internal stuff? No, I don't really think so. I just think that's going to be a lot of chatter from both sides. I don't really think it's going to be anything done afterwards. I think both sides think they did the right thing. Cole Perfetti saying he was mic'd up, that kind of sparked the whole thing. People saying that the CBA don't allow you to use video equipment or recording equipment to be able to, give someone an offendable or a finable, suspendable offense. And I'm not sure if that's exactly the case that, it's going to be going into, but it is something that is going to be, further looked into for the future, I would say, in these types of situations. Maybe the NHL implements something that, will go against someone wearing a mic if someone says something to them. Not everybody's mic'd up. It's only a select few in certain games and whatnot. So the NHL may expand into something like this in the offseason. I don't think they're going to do anything at the moment of, exclaiming to someone that you're doing this on purpose while being recorded. It's a bit of a weird situation. We haven't really seen it before in the NHL. It's only been the past few years that players have been mic'd up. Never before when this style of play was very common back in, the 90s and the 80s, even early 2000s. But it's just kind of a whole different game now. And so, like, Ryan Hartman being an old school style of player, not being, afraid to do anything. He will say anything to anybody. He'll lay a hit on anybody after resulting from a different play. So it just kind of is a clash of styles, I guess you could say. The new style in Cole Perfetti and the Winnipeg Jets versus the old style in Ryan Hartman and the Minnesota Wild. But, I think that's going to be all we're going to see from this. I think that on February 20th, I believe it is, the next game right here, this one is going to be one to watch for everybody. I think this is going to be a very, very entertaining game. There's a lot of people who only watch hockey for the hits, the fights, the physicality. That's going to be the game to watch. I think this is going to be a lot of stuff sparking up until then. You're going to hear a lot about it up until, what is it now, a little over a month until that game. But it's going to be, as physical as it always has, but just a bit more of a spark from what we've seen in the recent games over the Wild and the Winnipeg Jets. Kind of been the case for a long time, but, it's really all I got for this. I just want to talk about this, and see what we could, what might come out of it. And I want to know what you guys think we'll see in that game leading up to it. If we'll see any extracurriculars outside of the game, what we've been seeing over the past few days about the mic'd up stuff. And, I just want to hear what you guys think. It's a bit of a weird situation, not too common in the NHL as of right now. But, I just want to hear what you guys think. So like that in the comments below. But that's all I got. Hope you had a great day. Thank you for watching. See you later.